Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. This is video 2 for my 2025 Monthly Moments project. It's a year-long YouTube series sharing an easy blueprint for a year in review album. When finished, the album will include 12 double-page spreads, one for each month of the year. And if all goes according to plan, I'll be sharing it with you here on YouTube in January 2026. The intro and kit share video was on YouTube a few weeks ago, and if you missed it and would like to know more about the project, check it out. I will put a link to it below. Today's video is for Design 1, the first of 4 spreads I plan to create on YouTube. This one is a 12 photo design and documents my day-to-day life in January. For material, I'm going to be using the Simple Stories for the Record collection along with some stash. So let's get started. You're going to see in advance, I did map my 12 photos. Now what I have for this particular design is 5 3.5 by 5 photos and 7 wallet size photos. The wallet size photos are trimmed down a bit, and I will share measurements for everything a little bit later on in the process. So that's the cover sheet for the record collection. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm really quite thrilled about it. Again, the intro video is linked below. So here are the pattern papers that I have selected for today's project. So everything is quite bold here. I also have that ledger paper. You're going to see as well I have 2 sticker sheets. Now this one here came with the paper collection pack, and the one with the months of the year was an additional one, and I absolutely love it. There's months of the year, days of the week, and all kinds of stuff. I have 2 pieces of 12 by 12 white cardstock, and that blue paper is from Basil, and all of my wallet size photos are matted in that blue cardstock. I have tons of embellishments in my hand here. Most of them are from that Simple Stories collection for the record, but we'll have a look at all of that a bit later on in the process. What I want to do right now is start preparing my foundation page. Now this is going to be a really easy design, basically a border design, kind of like a grid. So what I'm doing right now is cutting up some paper. So I'm cutting this blue paper. It looks like dots, but they are actually like little push pins, like almost little thumbtacks on it. So I'm cutting myself out 2 strips. Again, all measurements will be on the screen a little bit later on. With that ledger paper, what I'm going to do is cut myself out a border strip, and I'm using the Creative Memories Border Maker system, the notebook cartridge. So I'm going to trim this down, and off camera, I'm going to cut myself out another one as well. And you're also going to see I have 2 strips of that striped paper as well. So those are all my page parts. What I'm going to do right now is add a bit of ink. It is Morning Mist by VersaFine Claire, and I ink all of this up except the ledger paper. And again, I'm not going to make you watch all of it. In a moment you're going to see I come back and everything is all inked up. Now what I want to do is place all of these page parts on the foundation page to give you an idea where I'm going with this. So basically I'm creating a nice wide border over on the left, and that one is vertical, and on the right I'm creating the same thing. The dimensions are a little bit different, and basically you can see on the right it is a horizontal border. Now I'm placing my photos, so I have those 4 wallet size ones at the top on the right. Those ones are all trimmed down a bit. The same thing for the wallet size ones on the left hand page, and I have placed my 3.5 by 5 photos. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to adhere all of this right away, and then I will come back and we will do the embellishing and all of that kind of stuff. So right now I'm not going to make you watch all of this, but I do want to show you the sequence in which I adhere these photos and papers to the page. So I'm starting on the left there, creating that border with those wallet size photos that again are trimmed down. Once that's down, then you're going to see me come in with that notebook border that I created, and I'm going to place it right up near that border of photos. Once that's adhered to the page, then what I'm going to do is take the two other papers, which is that blue dot paper along with that striped paper. I'm adhering both of those together. Then I adhere it to the page with my three photos. I'm showing you a little hack here. When I adhered the blue paper, it wasn't quite straight and I didn't want to trim my paper, but a little bit of white was peeking out. So I lifted it and I took the Night of Navy marker from Stampin' Up! And I basically colored along the white cardstock underneath that blue paper, and it was basically covering up the little bit of white that was peeking out. I just wanted to share that with you. Now you can see I've moved over to the right page. So the same thing here. I'm adhering that border of photos, of wallet-size photos, at the top of the page. Now this time I'm actually placing it purposefully a little bit down the page. You can kind of see there, I think it's probably a little over a ½ an inch. I wanted to have a little bit more white space up there because you're going to see once all of these photos are adhered to the page and all of those bold colored papers, it's really a busy layout. On top of it, these are a bunch of different photos that took place throughout the month of January. So everything is very colorful and busy. So I really wanted a little bit of white peeking out just to give my eye a bit of rest. So you can see I've got a sunbeam kind of crowding me out right now. So I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to adhere that notebook border right underneath the photos. Then I did the striped paper and dotted paper, then put my two larger photos on top of that. Now what I want to show you is I'm putting my pages in a certain order, but for both of these, you can flip them around depending on your photos, depending on the orientation. My larger photos are all horizontal, but if you have vertical ones, just flip them around. These pages with basic grid lines and squares and rectangles are really, really easy to flip around. Now I want to show you my embellishments here. So first of all, I cut myself out 3 circles with some circle dies. Right now I only have 2 in my hand. I lost one, but it does pop up a little bit later on. That's one of the papers from this For the Record collection. I'm going to be using those for cluster bases for my embellishments. In addition to that, I'm going to show you in a moment, I did do some journaling. I did it on vellum and I plan to place it along that border over on the left-hand page. These month in review pages, some people don't write on them. That's fine. You don't have to do that, but I like to do some writing, so that's where mine is going to go. I'm also showing you I have a bunch of tags. That is from a cut-apart sheet that was part of this paper collection. I cut them up. Again, perfect for cluster bases. Now I'm showing you the other embellishments. Now most of this comes from the For the Record collection. I have self-adhesive brads, chipboard, more chipboard. I have 2 ephemera packs. One of them is journal bits and pieces. The other one is wordy bits. The only 2 things here that aren't from the For the Record collection is I showed you some enamel dots. That was from another Simple Stories collection. And you can see I have a little alpha book on my table, again, from Simple Stories, but it wasn't part of this For the Record collection. I'm also showing you I have a cut-apart sheet there. I did cut out the word January. I don't end up using it for this project. You're going to see I end up using the stickers instead. So that's that 12 by 12 sticker sheet that came with the collection pack. And I also have a 12 by 12 sticker sheet that was sold separately with the months of the year and the days of the week. So now I'm showing you those alphas there. Again, I use that to supplement the title that I will be creating with a sticker sheet. So now let's start building clusters. I am going to start with those yellow circles and I'm going to place them in 3 spots around the page, basically to form a visual triangle. So I'm putting one there over on the far right towards the middle. I put the other big one at the bottom on the left-hand side, and now I want to fit one in towards the top. I decide to put it where you see it there because it kind of overlaps a photo with a bunch of empty space. That's a screenshot of the weather on one particular very cold day. Now I'm looking for a title. Now I really like that Jan from the cut apart sheet, but I also really love that sticker that says January. So I put that sticker on wax paper. Now what I'm doing is just taking my Creative Memories tearing tool and tearing that vellum with my journaling, because before I start embellishing, I do like to place my title and my journaling. Though that's really important for me, so I want to place those items. Now I'm digging into the tags, just picking out some tags, and I plan to put those in the embellishment clusters as well, because when I build embellishment clusters, I start with the biggest pieces and then gradually get smaller. So I find two that I am going to place over by the word January. One of them has this old-fashioned lady on it. I absolutely love that one. So I'm placing that there. And then I find myself another one as well. Now at this point, I'm getting a little wary of color. There's tons going on this layout, all kinds of different photos, all in different colors. I've got bold patterns. I also have bright yellow on there. So originally I had pulled out an orange tag. I decided to forego that. I put blue. I thought it just kind of blended in better. And now I'm looking for a tag to put over there on the bottom left. Again, at this point, I decide to go with neutral, because as much as I love all of this boldness, I'm starting to find it really, really bold. Now what I'm doing is just tucking in my journaling. I know it's going to go there above that yellow circle, and I'm playing around with some other bits. So I'm getting out the chipboard, and there's a chipboard piece that says real life. I really like that, and that certainly pertains to these photos on my page. So I'm just kind of playing around looking for a placement. I can't put it in a straight line, but I do kind of like it one bumped on top of the other. And now I'm playing around with the tag, and that serves me well because there's a little bit of empty trapped space underneath the word real, so the tag can kind of fill in that space there. And as you can see, at one point, that circle at the top on the right, I had trimmed it down so that it kind of bleeds off the page. I went into the sticker sheet, and there's a big word life there, and I like how that repeats the word life that's on the left page. So now I have life January. So I do end up digging into those stickers and that little sticker book later on to complete my title. That's what I'm getting out right now. I certainly do come in and do some finishing touches, but at this point I have too many loose pieces on my page, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to adhere it. So on top of that circle at the top right, I have this other ephemera piece that says remember, and there's a little orange block on top of it. You can see me reinforcing it with a little piece of cardstock. That's because I wanted to pop it up on foam adhesive. The ephemera pieces are paperweight, and I didn't want the foam adhesive to make that piece kind of bend or bow, so that's why I backed it with some cardstock. Now you can see I'm working on that big cluster around the title. So I started with that blue tag because that was closest to the foundation page. Then I overlapped the yellow circle on top of it. Now I'm putting in that other tag with that old-fashioned lady. That one is tucked in behind that photo at the bottom there. So I'm really working with all of the layers there. Now I'm fussing with the word life. It kind of overlaps the photos. And when I go to adhere the word January, I decide to back that sticker in cardstock as well because I want to pop it up on foam adhesive. The same thing, I just want to build it up a little bit so that it doesn't bend when I put foam adhesive. So you can see off camera, I did that with the word January. I also added in those red sticker alphas in 2025. You will see that a little bit later on. Now you can see I've moved over onto the left-hand page. So I'm tucking my journaling, that vellum piece right behind that striped border there. Now I'm coming in with that yellow circle, having it kind of stick out. Then I will come in with the other pieces, but I do end up having to fuss around a bit with that journaling because when I go to adhere real life there, it turns out that life ends up covering some of my journaling. There I go, I'm moving it up a little bit, and then a little bit later on, you're gonna see me do the very same thing. I end up having to trim the top part of that journaling as well. So all I'm doing here is just making sure all of the pieces fit. So off camera, I fixed that. I moved the journaling up. I adhered real life and the tags. And now I'm coming in with some finishing touches. So I have those self-adhesive brads. I add 3 of them to the tags, so that's kind of fun. Really, I have so many embellishments here, but I am just starting with this kit, and this layout is looking so incredibly busy right now. I don't dare add anything more to it. I'm looking right now for something to put in that little orange box that's on top of the word remember, and I find something that says the good thing, something like that. I had to trim it to make it fit, but it did, so now that's there. This is really wild and bold, but I'm actually quite liking it. Now, if you want, I'm going to show you how you can add more journaling and or more photos. On that sticker sheet, there are little tabs. I'm showing you I have a scrap of paper. It's like a, I don't know, an old Cocoa Daisy paper. And I'm also showing you that on 3 sides of it, I put that score tape. It's a really heavy duty tape. And what I want to do with it is create a pocket and put that white card in it. Now, my camera stopped, but basically here's what I did. I adhered that pocket behind the foundation page. I basically bumped it up in the top left corner. I slipped in that white cardstock, and on that there were extra photos and journaling. And I put that tab with the word January at top. And in my journaling that's on the front page, at the end of it, it says, for more information, pull on the tab. If you do this, I recommend making the card about 1.5 inches smaller than the pocket. I made mine 1 inch smaller and I found it a little bit tight. But basically, that's it. January 2025 is documented and ready for my album. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Have a great day, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.